People don't clap when you are consistent, they clap when you win. But that win doesn't happen without the quiet, unseen grind. Nobody celebrates the early mornings and late nights, but that's where greatness is made. It's built in repetition in the places people overlook. Consistency is showing up when your name's not called, when nobody's watching, when everything in you says to chill. You don't need hype when you've got the habit, because hype wears off. That Monday morning motivation is gone by Wednesday, but habits stick. They drag you forward when you are tired. They pull you out of bed when the alarm sounds. Habits don't care how you feel. They just respond to what you train yourself to do. It's not about being in the mood, it's about being in motion. Winners move whether it feels good or not. They don't wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. They create it by staying in the rhythm. When you live consistently, the results stop being a surprise. They become expected because you did the work without needing the fireworks. Everyone's chasing that aha moment, but they are missing the quiet grind. The progress you want is found in the monotony, in that routine that feels dull, in doing what's necessary over and over again. You master the basics, then you repeat them until mastery becomes your default. You don't get better by switching plans every week. Too many people get bored and quit, but boredom is the gatekeeper to breakthrough. If you can push through the routine, if you can outlast the urge to switch it up, that's where momentum builds. That's when your actions stack and the compounding starts to kick in. Most people stop before that gear catches. Consistency requires patience with the process. It's slow, it's often thankless. You won't feel like you are moving fast enough, but every day you show up, you are laying another brick, one more layer. And over time, that wall gets built. That wall becomes a strength. That wall becomes a character. People say they want results, but they avoid the structure that brings them. The gym session, the reading time, the savings plan. The grind is not glamorous, but it's effective. While others jump from theme to theme, you are planting roots. And when the storm comes, the ones with roots are the ones who stand. You said you want to change, then turned around and gave yourself an out. You can't live like that and expect to win. Every time you hit snooze, every time you delay the hard thing, you reinforce weakness. You train your brain to think that your word means nothing. You said you'd be different. Then you keep negotiating with comfort. Discipline is saying yes to the goal and no to the excuse. No matter how tired, no matter how tempted, no matter what the voice in your head says, that voice will always try to sell you on quitting. It'll say, just today, it's okay. But that voice is lying. You don't owe it a conversation, you owe yourself execution. The more you talk yourself out of hard things, the harder it gets to commit. Negotiation turns into a habit. You start reasoning your way out of greatness. You justify mediocrity with logic. I'm tired. It's not that deep. I'll start fresh tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes never. You have got to make certain things non-negotiable. You don't debate brushing your teeth. You don't ask yourself if you should put clothes on before leaving the house. Some things are automatic. That's how your discipline should be. You wake up, you grind. No debate, no back and forth. Just act. Winners don't wait for the perfect setup. They create it through repetition. They do what needs to be done regardless of feelings. That's the edge. That's what separates people who talk from people who build. The more you stop letting yourself off the hook, the stronger your self-respect gets. If your goals matter, they shouldn't depend on your emotions. They should be tied to your identity. If you see yourself as a builder, then you build. Even when it's cold, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet. Your future doesn't care if you feel like it. It cares if you did it. When you start negotiating, you remove the option to quit. That's where real change begins. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to stop giving yourself exit routes. There's freedom in not having a plan B. There's strength in sticking to one direction until the wheels fall off. You can be talented and still lose. You can be gifted and still fall off. Because talent without consistency is just wasted potential. You can hit a home run one time, but if you can't show up and swing every single day, you will stay stuck at average. The world doesn't reward flashes. It rewards repetition. The folks who win don't always have the most natural ability, but they've got the most discipline. They stick to the plan. They stay in the gym. They keep creating. They keep refining. It's not that they never miss. It's that they bounce back fast. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They hold themselves accountable and reset. When you are consistent, you don't rely on talent to carry you. You train it, you sharpen it, you keep working that muscle so it doesn't atrophy. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you rise. It's not in the highlight moments. It's in the daily habits, the discipline to stay in shape. Mentally, physically, spiritually. It's easy to start strong. It's easy to impress people with one big performance. But what about every single day? What about when nobody's watching? What about the practice, the prep, the discipline? That's where separation happens. That's where the average falls off and the focus to get better. Consistency builds trust in yourself. You start believing your word. You start knowing that you'll deliver no matter what. That trust compounds. It becomes confidence. Not the fake kind, but the real kind. Confidence built from keeping promises to yourself day after day, even when it's hard. That's when people start noticing something different about you. Not because you are loud or flasher, but because you are dependable, you are steady, you are locked in. They see you moving with intention. They see you building brick by brick. And that consistency starts speaking louder than talent ever could. The ones who last are the ones who don't skip the small stuff. They rehearse, they revise, they do the unglamorous things over and over again. While others burn out trying to impress, they build slow, steady fires that never go out. When it becomes who you are, it starts being optional. It starts being something you try. It starts being something you live. You don't negotiate brushing your teeth, so why are you negotiating your ground? If your goals matter, you don't leave them up for discussion. You treat them like air, non-negotiable. The minute you make something optional, your feelings will vote against it. Your mind will say, let's skip today. Your body will say, we're tired. And if you haven't made it non-negotiable, you listen, you back off, you compromise. And once you do it once, it becomes easier the next time. Discipline isn't about how you feel. It's about what you say you do. It's about becoming the kind of person who follows through. You don't wait to be in the mood. You create systems that run regardless of mood. Your morning routine, your reading, your diet, your focus time. It runs because you run it. The minute you let emotion call the shots, you lose control. You start swaying with the wind. You show up strong one day and disappear the next. You wonder why you can't find momentum? It's because you never locked in. You never took the exit signs off the path. Every time you follow through when it's hard, you build identity. You tell yourself, this is who I am now. And that identity starts sticking. That belief becomes behavior. That behavior becomes a lifestyle. You are no longer pretending to be consistent. You are consistent. You stop needing external motivation because the internal fire is real. You have created an environment where success is automatic. Not because it's easy, but because it's expected. You treat your habits like appointments you can't miss. And that mindset is rare, which is why it's powerful. When it's non-negotiable, Excuses get drowned out by execution. You don't get dragged by distractions. You don't look for shortcuts. You just do what needs to be done, whether the sun is shining or the storm is raging. You want applause, but you don't want practice. You want the results, but you don't want the reps. But here's the truth. What you do in the dark shows up in the light. The work you put in when nobody knows your name, that's what prepares you for the stage. That's where the real growth happens. Too many people want recognition before they've earned respect. They want the spotlight but can't handle the grind. You have got to be willing to put in hours behind closed doors. You have got to rehearse like your life depends on it. You have got to study, refine, fail, repeat. That's the real work. When you practice with obsession, the results show up without stress. You don't choke under pressure because you have already prepared in silence. You don't get nervous when the door opens because you have been waiting and working for that opportunity for months, maybe years. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who stayed quiet and trained while everybody else posted and bragged. That quiet person, they've been working in the shadows. And when it's their time, they don't hope for success, they expect it. They've already lived it 1,000 times behind the scene. Private consistency creates public excellence. You can't cheat that equation. There's no shortcut to mastery. You have got to be faithful in the unseen. You have got to be diligent in the unnoticed. That's what molds champions. The discipline to grind when nobody's looking. No cameras, no fans, no credit. Because if you can't be trusted in private, you won't last in public. The cracks will show. The foundations will crumble. You have got to become someone so consistent behind the curtain that when the curtain opens, the world doesn't see nerves. Every repetition you do in the dark is a vote for who you become in the light. And the more you vote, the more it becomes automatic. The more it becomes an identity, not something you fake, but something you live. You don't get championship results from lazy routines. If you keep waking up late, skipping the prep, and avoiding the hard stuff, your results will reflect that. Your life is just a reflection of your patterns. You can pray all day, dream all night, but until your routine changes, nothing else will. People say they want more, but their day doesn't say the same. You say you want health, but your habits don't back it up. You say you want wealth, but your spending says otherwise. The truth shows up in your day, not in your words. Your routine tells the real story, and it's loud. Consistency isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Your actions need to line up with your aspirations. You can't say you want something while living like it doesn't matter. The routine is the test. Are you serious or just talking? The routine exposes the truth every time. You can't cheat your way to success. You can't fake hard work. Either it's in the routine or it's not. And if it's not in the routine, it won't show up in your life. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems don't build themselves. Wake up with intention. Move with structure. Cut the randomness. Stop waiting for motivation and start depending on your plan. When your days have order, your results get traction. When your weeks have structure, your future gets momentum. It's all built into the daily pattern. People underestimate the power of small daily disciplines. But that workout you almost skipped, that early rise you almost delayed, that decision to keep going when you didn't feel like it, that's where the real wins come from. It's the tiny choices compounded over time that shift everything. Your results are the scoreboard. and the scoreboard doesn't lie. If you want a new outcome, build a new routine. Stack habits that reinforce who you are becoming. Keep them tight, keep them strong, keep them daily. There's nothing wrong with getting hyped up. Motivation videos, books, speeches, they can light the fire, but if you depend on them, the fire will burn out. Because motivation is temporary. It's like a spark. But what you need is a furnace, and that furnace is called discipline. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline doesn't care what the weather is like. Discipline doesn't need a crowd. Discipline moves because it's wired in, it's part of you. It shows up before the alarm, it stays when the feeling fades. It's not loud, but it's strong. And that's why you can't wait for inspiration. You can't wait to feel like it. The people who do great things show up especially when they don't feel like it. They've trained themselves to obey structure, not emotion. That's how you become unstoppable. You follow the pattern, not the mood. Mood is a liar. It will tell you to stay in bed. It will tell you to skip the workout. It will tell you it's okay to procrastinate. And if you listen to the mood long enough, you'll lose ground. But discipline is the truth. Discipline says, get up. Discipline says, you are not done. Discipline says, let's go anyway. The people you admire, they are no more motivated than you. They are more consistent. They built systems that don't need excitement to function. They move like clockwork because they train their minds to move without a push. Their fallback isn't laziness, it's work. You have got to fall in love with the process, not the feeling. You have got to train like a machine. Wake up, execute, recover, repeat. No applause needed. No perfect mood necessary, just action, just consistency, just grit. You'll never be able to control your feelings fully, but you can control your response. And if your response is rooted in discipline, you win every single time. You become someone people can count on. Most importantly, someone you can count on. When life gets heavy, your habits speak. When pressure hits, your training gets exposed. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your preparation. And if your preparation was weak, the cracks will show. That's why consistency isn't optional, it's protection under pressure. Everybody looks solid when things are easy. But when the hits come, when things fall apart, when time gets tight, that's when your standards get tested. Do you keep showing up? Do you still push forward, or do you fold? Your routine will answer before you even speak. If you have trained yourself to stay ready, pressure becomes your proving ground. You don't flinch because you have been there. You have already fought through doubt, fatigue, and discomfort. You have already shown up when it was inconvenient. So when the weight comes, you carry it because you are conditioned for it. Consistency builds resilience. It builds muscle memory for progress. When pressure comes, your default kicks in. And if your default is strong, you stay grounded, you stay locked in, you adjust, but you don't quit. You bend, but you don't break. Because you have already built that foundation. You don't want to be building strength in the middle of the storm. You want it already in place. And the only way to do that is through daily discipline, day after day. When it's boring, when it's quiet, when it seems like nothing is happening, that's the preparation. The pressure is waiting to test. When everything's falling apart, your habits are the only thing holding you together. If you build good ones, they'll carry you. If you didn't, you'll feel it instantly. Pressure magnifies whatever you have been doing. That's why it's critical to make consistency your lifestyle, not a season. You won't get a warning. Life won't send you a heads up. The pressure will come out of nowhere, and when it does, your response will be automatic. What you have been practicing in peace becomes your performance under pressure. Waiting for the stars to align is how people stay stuck. They say they'll start when it's the right time, when they're less tired, when the money's right, when life calms down. But there's no perfect day. There's no ideal mood. There's only now, and now is all you have got. You can build momentum in the middle of chaos. You can make progress even when things aren't lined up just right. That's what consistency does. It teaches you to work in the mess. It trains you to find your rhythm in the noise. That's where your strength multiplies. And there'll always be distractions, always a reason to delay, always something more comfortable than the work in front of you. But when you stop giving those things your energy and start committing to the mission, that's when you break through plateaus. People confuse comfort with readiness. They think feeling safe means they are prepared. But real growth happens in discomfort. Real transformation shows up in the tension between where you are and where you are going. You grow when you stretch, not when you sit. You don't need the stars to align. You don't need applause to begin. All you need is a decision, one that you make over and over again until it's second nature, until starting isn't something you debate, it's something you do. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It doesn't come from likes or followers or fake hype. Real confidence is built through repetition, in the grind, in the 1,000 small wins that nobody sees. It's forged when you keep showing up until you know what you are doing like the back of your hand. When you do something over and over, you stop hesitating. You stop questioning yourself. You start flowing. You walk into the room like you belong there because you have already done the work. You don't have to pretend to be ready. You are ready because you have prepared in silence. Repetition makes the process smoother. It makes you faster. It makes you stronger. And eventually, it makes you dangerous because now you are not just working hard. You are moving with precision. You are moving with rhythm, and that rhythm becomes unstoppable, and you can do it. The more you do, the less you doubt. The more you act, the less fear you feel. Repetition doesn't just build skill, it builds belief, and belief changes everything. Because now you are not wondering if you can do it. You know you can. You have already done it 100 times behind closed door. Confidence isn't loud, it's not cocky, it's calm, it's focused. It walks in with quiet intensity. That kind of energy only comes when you have outworked your excuses. When you have done the thing so many times, it becomes part of your DNA. People wonder how you do it so well. They'll think you are gifted. They'll think you are lucky. But they don't see the hours. They don't see the sweat. They don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the repetition. They built the confidence they now admire. Every time you repeat the process, your future becomes more secure. You start hoping things will work out and start knowing they will, because your consistency has built something solid, and solid wins over height every time. If you are waiting for someone else to hold you accountable, you are already behind. If you are depending on someone else to push you, you are already losing ground. Nobody cares about your vision more than you do. Nobody wakes up thinking about their dream. People can support you, people can encourage you, but nobody can carry you. You have to be the one who shows up on the hard days. You have to be the one who puts in the work when nobody's asking. Your future is your responsibility, and that weight is yours to lift. When you stop expecting people to save you, you start saving yourself. When you start waiting for validation, you start moving with power. You stop explaining your dream and start executing it. And that shift, that ownership, is what separates the real from the hopeful. You can't outsource your grind. You can't delegate your dedication. You have got to be your motivation, your coach, your accountability partner. When it's dark, when it's cold, when it's quiet, you still move. You still get it done because you know what's at stake. Your life won't change until your standards do. And your standards don't change because someone gave you advice. They change when you decide you are done settling. When you draw a line and say, this is who I am now. That kind of shift doesn't come from the outside. It starts deep inside. You have got to care so much about your future that nothing can distract you from it. Not opinions, not setbacks, not failure. You have got to be so focused that people start asking, what's driving you? And the answer isn't hype, it's hunger. And the moment you start treating your dream like it's up to you and no one else, everything changes. You move with urgency. You train with intensity. You grind with purpose. Not because someone told you to, but because you refuse to lose. Excuses are always dressed in logic. They sound smart, they sound reasonable, they even feel justified. But when it's time to cash in, when it's time to see what your grind produced, those same excuses won't pay off. They don't convert into results. They just explain why you are stuck. You can justify anything. You can justify skipping the gym. You can justify staying in bed. You can justify not starting that project. But every time you choose the excuse, you lose a piece of momentum. And the problem with momentum is once it's gone, it's hard to rebuild. The truth is the world doesn't care about why you didn't do it. It doesn't reward good reasons. It rewards action. The scoreboard doesn't show your schedule. It shows your results. And results don't care how busy you were, how tired you were, or how good your excuses sounded. People don't succeed because life is easy. They succeed because they decided to stop making excuses and start making it happen. They replaced I can't with I must. They turn maybe later into right now. And that mindset shift changed everything. Excuses can't live in a consistent mind. You have got to kill them off before they grow roots. You have got to hear yourself making one and shut it down immediately. The second you catch yourself justifying delay, that's the moment you decide to move anyway. That's how you kill off stagnation. It's easy to find a reason to wait. It's easy to find a reason to stop. But that's what average people do. That's what inconsistent people do. You are not building average. You are building something that requires you to override comfort, override logic, override delay. Your life is a mirror of your decisions. The moment you stop negotiating with excuses and start executing no matter what, that's the moment your life starts compounding forward. People think that if something feels boring, it must not be working. But that's not true. Real growth is quiet. It's repetitive. It's not glamorous. It's waking up doing the same routine, tightening the same systems, refining the same craft, day after day after day. That's where excellence lives. The gym gets boring. The grind gets boring. Eating right gets boring. Practicing gets boring. Studying gets boring. But boring is where transformation hides. The people who win aren't the ones chasing excitement. They are the ones locked into the process, even when it's not thrilling. Boring is the barrier. Most people quit when the excitement fades. They think they've hit a wall, but really, they've just hit the point where real work begins. And the ones who push through that wall, they are the ones who separate from the crowd. They are the ones who get the edge. There's nothing flashy about doing the right thing every single day. There's no cheering section, no parade. It's just you, your plan, your goal, and your willpower. And if you can show up in that space over and over again, you build something unshakable. The mind craves novelty. It wants something new. It wants fun. But discipline says we're not here for entertainment. We're here for growth. Discipline says do it again. Discipline says same time tomorrow. That's where your real strength gets forged, in the fire of repetition. Mastery lives on the other side of boredom. Once you get past the desire to be entertained, you start to fall in love with progress. You start to crave the repetition because you see what it's doing to your mind, your body, your future. You stop needing fireworks, you start needing consistency. Consistency isn't sexy, but it's strong, it's solid, it's dependable, and when the dust settles, that's what wins. Not excitement, not hype, just the quiet storm of someone who never stopped showing up. Everybody wants fast results. We want the transformation in 30 days. We want the payoff after one hard week. But greatness doesn't show up on your schedule. It doesn't care how fast you want it. It comes when it's earned. And earning it takes longer than most people are willing to stay in the game. It's not that you are doing it wrong, it's that you haven't done it long enough. You haven't pushed through enough reps. You haven't sat in the discomfort long enough. Progress doesn't show up when you want, it shows up when you deserve it. And that delay breaks most people. The slow seasons are where champions are born. The quiet stretches where nothing seems to be happening, that's where the roots go deep. That's where the muscle is built. That's where the character gets reinforced. You don't see it on the outside yet, but it's happening every day. You don't quit. The gap between effort and reward is where most people check out. But if you can stay focused while the results are invisible, you win. That's when your consistency turns into power. That's when your mind levels up. That's when the average falls off and the locked in rise. Every day you stay the course, you move closer. Every day you ignore the clock and honor the process, you strengthen your foundation. And eventually, the breakthrough comes. Not because of luck, but because of the 1,000 days you stayed true to the mission when nobody was watching. You have got to fall in love with the work. You have got to show up because it's who you are, not because it's paying off yet. That mindset, grind now, shine later, is how you earn everything that's meant for you. You can talk all day about what you're going to do. You can hype up your next move, share your goals, post your plans, and try to convince people you are serious. But people don't believe what you say. They believe what you repeat. Your actions form your reputation, not your intentions. Patterns are louder than passion. If your pattern is to start strong and disappear, that's what people expect. If your pattern is to talk big and deliver small, that becomes your identity. But if your pattern is steady, reliable, consistent action, that speaks louder than any speech. People don't trust effort. They trust results. They trust consistency. When you show up daily, you become credible. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to sell yourself. Your work becomes the proof. Your pattern becomes your power. Promises don't move the needle. Patterns do. One good day doesn't define you. One big talk doesn't matter if it's followed by silence. But if every day, brick by brick, you keep laying the foundation, people start to notice. And more importantly, you start to believe in yourself on a different level. Consistency is the only language people believe in long term. You can be doubted, overlooked, underestimated, but when your actions keep matching your words, that doubt turns into respect. Not because you forced it, but because you earned it through repetition. You don't need a loud mouth when you have got a loud pattern. You don't need approval when your actions back themselves up. When your name becomes synonymous with showing up, with reliability, with discipline, that's when doors open without you having to knock. The world doesn't remember what you said you'd do, it remembers what you kept doing, even when nobody clapped, nobody watched, and nobody offered you a shortcut. Your habits shape your identity. What you do over and over becomes who you are. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And your systems are built out of daily, consistent action, not once in a while energy. You keep skipping workouts, you become someone who quits on their body. If you keep procrastinating, you become someone who breaks promises to themselves. But if you show up early, stay locked in, finish strong, that identity starts becoming permanent. Every decision reinforces a belief. Every repeated action lays a brick in your foundation. You're not just doing tasks. You are building your future self. You are becoming the version of you who doesn't fold, doesn't flinch, doesn't fake the work. Success is not about willpower, it's about programming. You program your brain through repetition. You teach your mind that this is who you are now. We wake up early. We get uncomfortable. We chase the vision. We don't need motivation. We move anyway. You can't just dabble in greatness. You can't visit discipline once in a while and expect to see results. You have got to immerse yourself. You have got to show up so much that it feels strange not to. That's when consistency becomes your default, not your effort. You become what you honor. If you honor ease, you become soft. If you honor discomfort, you become strong. If you honor your goals daily, you become unstoppable. Not because you are special, but because you trained yourself to become consistent on a cellular level. Your identity is always evolving. Every day you are voting for the type of person you want to be. Your habits cast the ballots. And if you keep casting the same vote over and over, eventually the world starts calling you exactly what you have earned. When life squeezes you, what's inside comes out. When the storm hits, when things go wrong, when pressure shows up, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training. And if your training is built on consistent work, you don't crack, you don't collapse, you respond with force. Consistency gives you depth. It gives you a reserve. It builds something underneath the surface that can't be seen, but it shows up when you need it most. You walk through chaos calmly because you have already rehearsed how to handle adversity through daily discipline. When others are scrambling, guessing, and second-guessing, you execute. Not because it's easy, but because you are built differently. And you are built differently because you did the reps. You practiced when it wasn't required. You prepared when it wasn't popular. Pressure doesn't scare you when you have been applying it to yourself every day. You have already been waking up early. You have already been stretching your limits. You have already been battling your weaker self. So when life gets loud, you don't flinch. You fight. People think confidence comes from height, but real confidence comes from work. The kind of work that nobody claps for. The kind of preparation that turns panic into presence. That's what consistency does. It turns trials into opportunities and setbacks into setups. Your edge is in your preparation. The difference between breaking and bending is how much weight you have trained with before the storm. If you have been showing up under pressure on purpose, then you are not just durable, you are dangerous under fire. Consistency isn't just about success, it's about survival. It's about having the tools when the world tests you. And the world will test you. It's only a matter of time. What you build daily will decide if you fold or if you rise. Every vision you have had, every dream that lit a fire in your gut, every version of you that you saw in your quiet moments, it's all waiting for you, but not on this side of effort. Not where comfort lives, not where excuses sit. It's waiting on the other side of discipline, of daily choices, of unshakable consistency. You have pictured the house. You have imagined the freedom. You have thought about the legacy. But what you have imagined isn't just going to show up because you want it. It shows up when you show up. It shows up when you have paid the price in time, sweat, focus, and follow through. It's not the loud days to build it. It's not the big speeches or the hyped up mornings. It's the quiet grind. The early mornings with no audience. The lonely reps. The painful decisions to keep moving forward when it's not working yet. That's where the bridge gets built. Consistency turns you into someone who can carry the weight of the dream. The reason you don't have it yet isn't because you are not capable, it's because you haven't become the version of you who can hold it without dropping it. And becoming that person takes reps. You have got to make a decision that your emotions don't run this, that your feelings don't dictate your moves, that no matter what happens around you, something solid stays locked inside you. You do the work because that's who you are now. You follow through because that's your new standard. When you force yourself to be consistent, you stop chasing life and start shaping it. You stop wishing and start building. You stop looking at others, wondering how they did it, and you become the one who did it. Not because you were the smartest, not because you had the most talent, but because you refused to quit. Everything you said you wanted is still out there. It didn't vanish. It didn't disappear. You just moved to a place called after the work, beyond the excuses, past the point where most people quit. And the only way to reach that place is to force yourself to be consistent. Everyone talks about the destination, the finish line, the big reveal. But here's the truth. The journey is where the magic happens. It's not about when you finally hit the goal. It's about what you become on the way there. The person you evolve into, the lessons you learn, the discipline you forge. That's where your real wealth lies. Most people think the finish line will fix everything. They think getting a promotion, signing a contract, or hitting a number will give them peace. But you know what? That moment will come and go. What truly stays with you is the strength you built in the process, the consistency that turned you into a powerhouse. The grind isn't just a means to an end, it's the transformation. Every hour you spend working toward your goal, you are shaping your character. Every failure, every setback, every moment of doubt, those are the building blocks. If you skip work, you miss the point. If you take shortcuts, you miss the growth. The real destination is who you become on the way there. It's the mindset you build, the habits that carry you, the resilience that refuses to fold when it gets hard. That's the treasure. And it doesn't come at the end of the race. It's created in every single step you take. The pressure, the sacrifices, the grind, those are the true rewards. Those are the things that will serve you far beyond the goal. And when you hit that finish line, you won't even need the validation of the crowd. You'll have the internal satisfaction of knowing you did the work, you stayed consistent, and you became a new version of yourself that's capable of anything. So never get too fixated on the finish line. Keep your eyes on the process. Keep your head down, keep pushing, keep building. Because in the end, the destination will be just another moment. But the person you become along the way, that's the life that lasts forever. Embrace the grind, relish in the work. Let the consistency turn you into the person who wins, not just the one who reaches the goal. You have got the desire. You have got the vision. You can see the life you want, the success you crave, the person you are meant to be. But vision alone won't build the bridge. Desire alone won't carry you across. What gets you from where you are to where you want to be is consistency, the bridge that connects your dreams to your reality. Desire is the fuel, but consistency is the engine. Desire is what gets you started, but consistency is what keeps you going. And it's not just about keeping going, it's about showing up with purpose no matter what. It's about doing the hard work even when it's easier to quit. It's about stacking one small victory on top of another until that bridge stretches to your every day. You add to that bridge. Every day you take a step forward. Every day you make a little progress. And those little steps compound. You don't need giant leaps. You don't need instant results. You just need to stay steady, to stay consistent, and keep laying down the foundation. What's amazing is that the more consistent you become, the less effort it takes to keep building. The discipline becomes automatic. The repetition becomes second nature. And eventually, you don't even have to think about the work. You just do it because it's who you have become. And the bridge, it becomes an unshakable path that you can walk with your eyes closed. The moment you start building that bridge is the moment you decide to cross. It's the moment you decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how much work is involved, you are not stopping. The bridge may be long, it may be challenging, but every step you take is a step closer. When you see your dreams on the other side, it's consistency that will get you there. It's not magic. It's not a shortcut. It's hard work. It's the daily grind. And when you finally cross that bridge, you'll realize that the real achievement wasn't the destination. It was becoming the kind of person who could cross it. So every day you are building the bridge between your desire and your achievement. Keep building, keep laying the bricks. Because once that bridge is done, there's nothing you can't reach.